Well, that was quite the action, wasn't it? Now I'm wearing my Florida, the blue one where the cat's got the stick and he snapped the stick. So I wanted to wear a Florida jersey. I thought, oh, I'll wear one I haven't worn in a while. So, yeah, you know what? I think tonight's proven, and I want to go back to the Detroit game for a second. And I saw a couple comments like, hey, maybe Detroit's better than people give them credit for. No. Detroit works really, really hard. And tonight, well, throughout the day, we've seen if a team works really, really hard in this league, you can neutralize a team that's probably better than yours. You can probably win your share of games. And sometimes the team that isn't necessarily as good as the other might be the one that emerges as a playoff contender. That happens. It's about playing as a team, playing within your system, responding well to a coach, and just some teams right now seem to be rising to the occasion. So, with that in mind, let's start off with Anaheim and St. Louis. And this looked like it was a response game for St. Louis until it wasn't. They had the early chances. O'Reilly scores a goal from Tarasenko at 2 minutes and 27 seconds. And this was the first time in 9 games that St. Louis scores first. So the Blues score first. And then after that, Hutton had a point shot that was saved for the Ducks. Stolarz denies Delarose. The Blues press. There was a power play for the Ducks. That power play produced 1 shot. The Blues press with 6.5 minutes left. Stolarz snagged a Scandella shot. I think for Bear, I think she's a Blues fan. I think that's what's going on with her today. The Blues then get a power play, and they score on it. Tarasenko with the power play marker from Krug and Perron at 15:59. And then the Ducks tried to answer after that. The Ducks didn't have an awful period, but the Blues came out of it as the better team. And they were up 2-0. And honestly, I thought, hey, look, the Blues are back. Second period, Blues press early. Mikkola had a chance that shot high. There was some shot blocking by the Blues. When the Ducks did get some pressure, they were doing a good job keeping him to the outside. Things get scrummy around the 5-minute mark. Again, the Blues defense not giving any space to the Ducks. And then Cam Fowler. Fowler from Getzlaf and Jones at 8:24. So it's 2-1. Now, to their credit, the Blues try to answer that right away. Stolarz making some saves. Stolarz had a huge game. Power play for the Blues. That gets 3 shots. It is unable to score, though. So the first power play gets the goal. The second one did not. Tarasenko, physical game was back for him tonight. Raquel was knocked down. Basically, Kyle Clifford was pushed down by one of the Duck players, and he slid into Raquel. And he slid, basically, he was down on all fours, and he cut the legs out from underneath Raquel. Raquel couldn't have seen him there. Raquel hit the ice pretty hard. It looked like he banged his head. So Raquel left this game. I haven't heard yet how long he's going to be out, but I would think this could be a big injury for Raquel, which is too bad because he started scoring again recently. Heinen was then denied. Sanford blocked one, but we come out of the second period, and it's still 2-1 for St. Louis. So they did outplay Anaheim in that period. They outshot him. Stolarz played very, very well. So you go to the third. 2 minutes and 13 seconds in, Henrique becomes the first Duck to double digits in goals with his 10th from Jones. So Max Jones with a couple of helpers, and it's 2-2. Not long after that, there's like the yard sale of the Blues net, which is where you just have everybody just piling on. Tarasenko had a chance. He slid right into Stolarz and into the net. Came up with a bunch of snow on him. He just lost an edge. The Blues get a power play. That's killed off. Grant had a shot that was saved. Henrique then shot high. The Ducks, you could tell at this point, are going for the steal. They are aware that they're against a team that's probably struggling with its self-confidence, and they're just, doing everything they can to puck pressure and all that. Kyrou missed the net. He was by himself on that, and he just flat out missed. Some big saves from Stolarz with 4 minutes left, and Braden Shen is completely and totally snake bit at this point in the season. So you go to overtime. The Ducks had the early control, and then Josh Manson with the ultimate, I'm not doing anything. Don't worry about me, guys. I'm not going to score a goal. I haven't had a goal in 14 months. Don't worry. Everybody just kind of lets him go, and he scores the assist to Stolarz at 142. It was remarkable how the Blues just kind of let him go. It's like they didn't respect that Josh Manson, who again hadn't had a goal in 14 months, might actually pull the trigger himself. So a nice goal for Manson. The Ducks go to 11, 19, and 6. For the St. Louis Blues, they dropped to 16, 13, and 6. So the overtime loss hurts because, again, they're given daylight to those teams behind them, like Arizona, like the Kings, and to some extent the Sharks. So the shots in this one favored the Blues the whole way through until the overtime. 14-10 in the first, 15-6 in the second, 10-7 in the third. Anaheim had the only shot in overtime. Final shots 39-24 for St. Louis. Power plays, Anaheim 0 for 1, St. Louis 1 for 3. Stolarz, 37 saves on 39 shots. He stole this one. Binnington, 21 saves on 24 shots from him. And again, you know, the Blues, they just found a way to lose this game, which they had been ahead 2-0 going into the second period. And then, well, it all fell apart. Boston. Boston does not score against New Jersey. Whatever New Jersey's doing to Boston, I think other teams need to be watching game tape of these ones because it is remarkable how incompetent Boston looks against New Jersey in comparison to other teams in this division. Marchand, of course, still out. I don't think it would have mattered if he was in. He played the other games where they didn't score 5-on-5. Boston has not scored 5-on-5 against New Jersey. This is the 5th game. They didn't do it today either. Spoiler alert, right? Halak versus Blackwood. Not Halak's fault. Early play favored the Devils. Halak was sharp. The shots were 5-1 for the Devils at 6 minutes. In the back of my mind, I'm like, I've seen this before this year. I don't know what it is with the Devils against the Bruins, but the Devils absolutely love this matchup. They don't seem to play as well against anybody else in the division. Like their record against Buffalo, not great. But against Boston, it's almost immaculate. Subban had a slap shot that was caught by Halak. No sustained pressure for Boston in that first period. A power play then for the Bruins. A shot went through Blackwood, but it trickled wide because no pucks were allowed in the net today. And if they were, well, a review was going to take care of that. Lauzon had a chance that was tipped out of play. He would end up exiting the game. Bruins can't score 5-on-5 versus New Jersey. 0. So I'm putting that on the board already. Like, I'm just going to put this out there. They can't score. It's not going to happen. And then Palmieri scores from Smith and Bratt at 16:37. Palmieri, who has, I think that was his 7th, and I think 4 of them are against Boston. So they said maybe they'll trade for Palmieri just so the next time they play against New Jersey, they don't have to worry about losing the game. So second period, that's some Tyler Toffoli level thinking. Second period, early chance, Ritchie fired it wide. Devils get a 2-on-1. Grzelcyk broke that up. Bruins just not getting shots. It just wasn't happening for them at that stage. Then there was a crossbar for Merkley. The Bruins survived that. And then all of a sudden they started getting some stuff going their way. Bratt had a shot that was blockered away. And then Pasternak had a shot that was a leg save by Blackwood. The Devils get a power play. Wood was denied. Penalty ends. Lauzon still missing at this point. Bergeron would exit. He'd come back. He'd exit again later in the game. And both times it was friendly fire. Come on, guys. He's your captain. The C doesn't mean hit me. That doesn't even make any sense. There's no C in hit or me. And then the Devils get another power play. There was a shorthanded chance for Bjork during that. And then with 17.9 seconds left in the second period, the Bruins get a power play. So they can't score 5-on-5, but their power play, they've got a shot, right? Even shorthanded, they seem to have more of a shot of scoring against the Devils than 5-on-5. Well, third period, Blackwood decided no. The best way to describe the third period is Blackwood saying no. Nah. Even the plays where it looked like Boston might have scored, he said nah. So, 4-minute Bruins power play takes place on a Kuokkanen high stick. It was an aggressive Devils penalty kill. And then with 17 seconds left in that, the Bruins take a penalty, which means the Devils get a power play. With 6:42 left, the Devils then get another power play after that first one had been killed off. So Boston doing their best to be very gracious hosts. Blackwood makes a save on Pasternak. Halak stops a good chance for Wood. And then Bratt ends up hitting the post. Almost made it 2-0 right there, which would have ended it for all intents and purposes. Goaltender gets pulled with 1 minute and 40 seconds left, and then Bergeron scores with, I think it was 1 minute and 5 left or 1 minute and 10 left. Challenge for goalie interference. Basically, it was underneath the glove of Blackwood. You should blow the whistle. Krejci smacked his glove. And then it wasn't just that. There was also some other pushy kind of stuff going on at that point. So It was incidental. There was no penalty, but it's one of those ones where the referee should have blown the whistle when he didn't. So that goal comes off. The challenge succeeds, and then with 8 seconds left, the Bruins thought they'd scored, but the puck never fully crossed the line. So, and then it took them 20 minutes to get that last face-off done, where there was 1.1 second left. I was just like, come on, just drop the puck, because at that point, it's overlapping this game, and I'm like, okay, I want to watch this because I know this is over. New Jersey goes to 13-6-4. Boston drops to 17-9-5. Boston's now finding out what Dallas has found out. Games in hand don't matter if you don't win them. Shots in this one. New Jersey outshoots Boston 12-9 in the first. Boston picked up the shooting after that. 14-12 in the second and 17-5 in the third. Like I said, Blackwood just said no. He even watched the replay after the game. Blackwood did. Just to see, because it happened so fast. He didn't know, did I have it? Should they have blown the whistle? He wanted to see what it was, and he wanted to see if that puck was completely across the line as well. So he did check that out after. Final shots, 40-29 for Boston. Power plays, both teams go 0 for 4. Blackwood, 40 saves for his 6th career shutout. Halak, 28 saves on 29 shots in the Boston net. And, for Boston, it's starting to get a little dicey, isn't it? They're leaving a door open for the New York Rangers or the Philadelphia Flyers. All right, Florida. So the good news is Florida found a much more willing opponent in Dallas today. And they were gracious, too. The home team, it's nice that two teams I cheered for were so gracious at home. And also, much like this one here, they had the goaltender that just was dialed in today. So, first minute, there was a delay of game. Stars on the penalty kill right out of the gate. The Stars killed that off, but the shots were already 4-0 for Florida, and it felt like this might be a sign of things to come. There was a power play for the Stars, and then they score on it, and it's Robertson, which keeps his hot streak going, from Hintz and Klingberg at 4:32. So what's the best way to celebrate that goal? Right, not doing what they did, which was allow a goal to Huberdeau at 5:03, and it was a Ben giveaway on that as well. Ben didn't have a fantastic game. And there you go. It's a tie at 1. The Panthers nearly score again. Duclair got in. He ends up getting rewarded with a penalty shot. I was kind of iffy on that because I thought he had a pretty good opportunity as it was. What is or isn't a penalty shot? I think it depends on the ref. So he gets the penalty shot and he scores. Anthony Duclair at 6:29. So that's his 4th of the year. We'll see if it's time for him to heat up goal scoring wise. He's overdue. There was a 2-on-1 then. Ottinger denied Marchment. There's a power play for Florida, and it scores. It's Huberdeau, again, from Ekblad and Yandel at 13:37. That made it 3-1 for Florida. And, ta-da, Dallas had a 1-0 lead, and then they're down by 3 with 8.5 minutes occupying the time that those 3 goals took. Marchment and Foxa then had a dislike in the final minute. I don't like Fox's chances in that pair-off. But anyway, second period, Robertson hit the outside of the net on a play. The Panthers' transition game was just so strong at points during this game, and it's just they can go to the attack so quickly. You have to respect that at all times. The shots were 3-1 for the Stars at 7 minutes, and they played very well. Just Drieger wasn't allowing anything in the net. Power play for the Panthers, Connolly would hit the post, so it could have been worse than it was on the score sheet. Ekblad ends up getting stretchered off as well late in the second period. What happened is Lindell throws a hit, and it's one of those things where your leg kind of picks and it hyperextends, and it was ugly. It is one of those injuries that's just, it's not pretty, and as soon as it happens, both teams just say, okay, that's bad. So Ekblad got stretchered off. They had a cast around one of his legs. I think, yeah, it's his left leg. I don't think he's coming back this year. So for Florida, who are already playing without Barkov, who are already playing without Hornquist, Ekblad, I don't think he's coming back this season. I think Florida, as of that injury, are going to be in the market for a rental on the blue line. Because, again, I don't even know how you replace that. Ekblad had 11 goals this year. Has looked really, really good. Best season of his career. And now the question has to be, is this going to be an injury that, looks worse than it is, or is it one that could potentially eat into some of next season as well? Stars get a power play before that period's over. It gets killed off. We go to the third. 14-0-1 is the record for Florida coming into today when they lead after 2. Dallas, an equally impressive 0-9-7. it's hard to go into 16 straight third periods, well, 16 third periods where you're losing and not come back to win any of them. And today, now it's 17. So, consistency. I admire the consistency. The Panthers get a power play. That's unsuccessful. Hintz had a nice breakaway. Drieger made the save on that. Gurianov and Stillman then went at it. Why would Gurianov ask for this fight? So basically, it's one punch by Gurianov, which kind of struck, and then Stillman just drilled him. I'm not sure what. I don't get that. I'm like, okay, so Gurianov, who I know he's had trouble scoring, but it'd still be nice if he wasn't concussed or injured or anything. Don't pick a fight with Stillman. He's a big kid, and in that instance, he took Gurianov down. Stars then get a power play. That's killed off. Drieger, near perfect. Absolutely stealing this game. Once they got out of the first period with that 3-1 lead, it was like Drieger said, all right, so game's mine. Ben with a near miss. He was looking skyward after that. I'm sure all Stars fans were as well. They call a timeout with 1:33 left. The goaltender had, of course, been pulled, so that leads to an empty net goal. Tippett with the empty netter from Huberdeau at 18:55. Huberdeau with 3 points today. And that makes the final score 4-1 for Florida, who go to 22-9-4. Dallas drops to 11-12-9. They've won 11 out of 32 games. Ouch. Shots 14-7 Florida in the first, and then it's all Dallas the rest of the way. 14-4 in the second, 13-5 in the third. Final shots 34-23 for Dallas. Power plays Florida 1 for 4, Dallas 1 for 3. Drieger 33 saves on 34 shots. Ottinger 19 saves on 22 shots. I'm not going to put it on Ottinger. I'm not. Save percentage wasn't great, but it was a really lousy first period from Dallas, and they just weren't able to recover because Drieger wasn't nearly as hospitable as Dallas was as hosts today. All right, last game on the board. Nashville. So it was a couple weeks ago that I kind of gave a heads up that Nashville looked like they could go on a run here. And here we are. After tonight's game, they now have a record of 1 game above 500, the same as Chicago. And they look pretty good tonight. And I don't know if they're going to ride this all the way through until the playoffs and get that 4th spot or what's going to happen. But yeah, this was impressive. And yet Chicago had a good game as well. Reverse retro Hawks for tonight. I do like those jerseys. Of course I do. The shots were 2-2 at 4 minutes. However, Arvidsson on an odd play, and one of those ones where Subban maybe should have had it. 4 minutes and 43 seconds. It's 1-0 for the Nashville Predators. We then get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Following that, Keith blocked a good shot from Yossi. Arvidsson had a break. Subban saves because Arvidsson, while he had a goal tonight, he does still have like this snake bit aura about him when it comes to goal scoring. Granlund missed high. The Preds were in control. Rinne absolutely robbed Janmark as well in that first period. The Hawks would press. They would end up getting a power play shortly after that. Much better second half for the Hawks. And then, yeah, Yarncroke gets robbed. And then right after he's robbed, he decides he's going to get it on the next play, and he does. He scores from Ekholm at 18 minutes and 30 seconds. It was a result of a great shift. So Chicago had some momentum. Nashville had one really good shift, and it's in the back of the net. It's 2-0 Predators after 1. Second period, Granlund tried one from a tough angle. That was stopped. So Nashville kind of just throwing it at the net because, again, you want to test Subban. Game opened up. Chances both ways there. Predators go to the power play. The penalty kill for the Hawks was very, very good tonight. On that one. That was the only power play the Nashville had in the game. So Kane was stopped. Doc was on the doorstep on a play where Kane was stopped. Kirby Doc, his second game back. He's playing a lot. He's getting opportunities. The points are going to start going in for him sooner or later. Zadorov then collided with Rinne. I know there were gifs on the internet, people that were upset about Zadorov colliding with Rinne. It didn't look like he meant to clip him or anything, and Rinne was okay, and there wasn't a penalty on the play. But Johansson decides, hey, we can't let that happen to our goaltender, so he kind of goes after Zadorov. He ends up in the box. So that's a power play for them, and they don't score on it. In fact, Chicago ends up getting a crossbar before that second period's out. DeBrincat had a breakaway. He missed high. Wouldn't miss much in the third, though, would he? So let's go to the third period. Still 2-0 for the Nashville Predators. The Hawks had been held to 2 goals or less in 13 of their last 15 games against Nashville. So that was the stat they put up at the start of the third, and I thought, that's going on the board. The Predators get a 2-on-1. Boquist defended it nicely. Hawks get a power play. That is killed off. However, Suter, DeBrincat, and Kane were together, and that's the new nuclear option for the Hawks. They score with that line. DeBrincat from Kane and Suter at 7:35, and then the pressure was on after that. So the next time that Colleton got a chance, he threw that line back on the ice, and they reward him for the double shifting by scoring again. And it's DeBrincat with his second goal in less than 2 minutes from Suter at 9:25. It's a tie game. So at this point, with it tied up at 2, Coach Hines says, we got to shut this down, and he calls a timeout. And it was a good thing he did. So he calls a timeout, talks to his players. They come out of the timeout. Very intense back and forth action. But it didn't feel like Chicago was getting the same level of chances as before. Like, it did seem to hurt the momentum. And then Yossi scores from Tolvanen and Arvidsson at 13:27. So Arvidsson with a goal and an assist tonight. And that made it 3-2 in favor of the Nashville Predators. So the goaltender gets pulled with 1:20 left. Chicago's unable to tie it. They had their opportunities. Pecorine, just too good for tonight. The Nashville Predators go to 18-17-1. That's 5 wins in a row. They've won 7 of their last 8. Chicago drops to 16-15-15. They've now won 3 out of 11. Yep, they're in trouble. And Nashville beat them both times. So there's definitely some reason to be concerned if you're a Hawks fan. Shots in this one, 8 apiece in the first period, 12-11 Nashville in the second, 11-10 Nashville in the third. Final shots, 31-29 for the Predators. Predators went 0 for 1 on the power play. Chicago 0 for 3. Rinne saves 27 out of 29. Subban 28 out of 31. And if Rinne had got that shutout tonight, it would have been number 60 on his career. So maybe next game. But we'll see. Let me know your thoughts regarding these games. Remember, I already did the video review of the other 2 games that took place earlier today. So if you haven't seen them, look for them on the channel. Thanks for all your support. Do hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for the 184,000 that now is showing when people look at how many subscribers I have. And again, as my wife would say, that's a lot of people listening to me talk. Thanks for listening to me talk. I will talk to you guys again soon.